Hi there, and welcome back to the Average Person Advice Channel. I'm the Average Guy Nick, and today I want to talk a little bit about physical health and wellness. So, physical health, of course, is your physical state of well-being, how healthy you are. There are obviously aspects of physical health that we may have very limited control over, like hereditary things or diseases that unfortunately maybe we're born with and things like that. Those are obviously got to be managed through your healthcare professional and the different things and options they give you. So what I really want to talk about more is physical health and the aspects and elements that we have control over. So when we talk about those sort of elements and aspects, there are really two primary pieces. So the first piece is your diet, and the second piece is your exercise or physical activity. And these two elements together have a profound impact on our physical health and well-being, both right now and also into the long term, based on kind of like a strain that you put on your body, right? So when you're not thinking about physical health, if your diet is poor for a long period of time, you're putting a lot of strain on your liver, your kidneys, and various other parts of your body. And of course, if you're not physically active for a long time, there's different kinds of strains just from lack of exercise and activity. Your cardiovascular system, which is your heart and your endurance and how well it can pump blood and stuff, generally may be weaker if you're not doing cardiovascular activities, going out and trying to do that kind of stuff. So it's important to at least be aware of physical wellness and to be aware of what you're doing every day and steps that you can take if you have specific goals you want to accomplish, or even just for general health and well-being. So we'll start a little bit with, I guess, an overview of it. Generally speaking, you need to either increase your calories or decrease your calories to try to accomplish a certain goal. But at the same time, unless you have a very specific goal you're working towards, like you want to lose X amount of weight, or you want to gain X amount of muscle mass, or you want to basically train for a specific sport or activity, that kind of thing. What we really need to focus on is sort of general health and well-being. So, and your body tends to adapt to what you do to it. So if you go really hard and really extreme for a set period of time, it's hard on your body. You'll see maybe some results that you like, but then if you kind of go back to what you were doing before, your body's just going to readapt and change back to whatever it was. So the real piece is to find something that you can fit into your lifestyle that will last you long term. Something you're comfortable with or happy or enjoy doing, week over week for most of your life, for the rest of your life. And that's kind of the ideal goal. And again, if you're trying to accomplish a specific goal on top of that, that's great. But we need to look at sort of the foundational piece of actually incorporating, both a good diet and a good exercise routine into your day-to-day life. So there's something called the body mass indicator, or BMI, and it can give you a general idea of what your body weight and everything and your calorie intake should be on a day-to-day basis. So the BMI, there's calculators and stuff online that you can find, but basically it looks at like your height, your age, your weight, and then it will tell you, one, if basically you're maybe a little bit overweight or a little bit underweight, and it will give you a base point for how many calories you should be consuming in a day. So that base point will help you get an idea of how much you should be eating, that kind of thing. And then the real piece, and this is maybe the most difficult part, is trying to get a diet in place where you're eating, fairly balanced and fairly healthy. And that doesn't mean that you can't eat out sometimes on stuff that's not as good, or that you can't, eat chips or binge every once in a while. But ideally, you want your general, day to day to be within a fairly healthy, balanced diet that matches the calorie intake for your specific BMI, and that's going to help you keep into a good, healthy weight range. to sort of know what calories you're intaking. I mean, it's a lot easier nowadays. There's nutritional facts and information on pretty much everything, at least there is in Canada. But you can also there's all kinds of different apps out there now where you can actually scan a barcode and it'll bring it up and tell you the calories, or just general calories. So you can put in, for example, like bananas, and it will tell you how much calories is in a general, banana or something like that. So, it's a bit of work up front to get a general idea, but once you have that, then you can really have good control over what your calories are that you're eating and try to keep yourself in that range. And then basically, if you want to gain weight, which usually is if you're trying to put like muscle mass or something on, or maybe if there's for a specific goal, you increase your calorie intake above what you normally burn in calories per day. And again, your BMI is kind of your baseline for that. And if you want to lose weight, you decrease your calories below what you normally burn in a given day. And if you consistently do that, your body weight will drop down to a point or a level where it can only sustain the weight based on the calories that you're taking every day. So that's kind of the gist of it for diet in terms of calorie intake. And then just eating generally healthier. So you want to have at least as much fruit and vegetables as both your carbs and your meats at the same time if possible. You want to try to have more complex carbohydrates. So instead of white rice, have brown rice. Instead of white bread, have multigrain bread, things along those lines. And you want to try to have leaner cuts of meat if possible. So whether that's lean cuts of beef or chicken and turkey, or leaner cuts of pork, or fish. And of course, you need to have some fats and stuff, but you want to get those healthier fats from natural sources, like, for example, lean, like cold water fatty fish, is a good source of omega-3 fats, which is good for you. Avocados, nuts and that kind of stuff are all great to have as part of that diet. So, if you're trying to, for example, just get healthier in general, basic steps, even if you don't want to start counting calories, just get started by cutting out as much sort of junk and processed foods as you can and switching those up with healthier, better, whole foods, more fruits, more vegetables, leaner cuts of meat, and complex carbohydrates. And just in that itself, you're probably going to see, you're going to feel healthier, but you're probably also going to see your caloric intake go down, because processed foods and stuff tend to have a higher number of calories per portion than healthier foods or raw foods and that kind of stuff. Now, moving on to the exercise piece of this equation, the big thing really is just trying to incorporate exercise into your day-to-day life. And there's different ways to do that depending on what you like and what's important to you. You can do it through sport. You can do it with long walks or jogs. You can actually, you can go to the gym. You can do, at-home fitness just with body weight, like push-ups and sit-ups and squats and that kind of thing. There's a ton of amazing YouTube channels out there that have, basically full exercises or programs, and you can follow along. Or if you really need that motivation, you can take it to another, level, and you can join some kind of gym that offers, personal training, or you can hire a personal trainer directly. And there's some that offer like small classes. So, maybe a small group of people. So you get some individual attention, and then you're motivated to continue to push and move forward with that. And again, there's a ton of great resources out there. I really like the site muscleandstrength.com if you want to learn more about like lifting and resistance training and that kind of stuff. They show the exercises, they show you the form that you should use. They have, sample exercise programs. So it's a great place to get started. There's also a lot of ones out there now. One that I started with a long time ago was called Insanity. And it was, at that time, it wasn't really weight-based, but it was more just about real high sort of intensity. And again, you don't even really got to start with that. The biggest piece is setting time aside every week to do exercises and committing to that time. And that's the hardest part, really. Like once you commit to that and that time is set aside, and you convince yourself to actually go and do something in that time, then it's much easier at that point to do different things in that time period. Whether it's, again, weight training, going for a jog, setting up a specific program, to meet a certain goal. Like if you, play soccer and you want to get better at soccer, there's probably, specific programs that you can take to increase, certain strengths and, endurance and that kind of stuff. So the most important thing, again, set that time aside and get started. And with the diet, eat healthier, cut out a lot of the processed foods, and then you can take it to, a very detailed level. There's a lot of great tools to do that. Or even if you don't, even if it's just for general health, just putting time aside several times a week to exercise and eating healthier is going to go leaps and bounds to increasing your, overall physical wellness and health and well-being. And then, once you've started, again, if you want to specialize, if you want to go more into weight training, you're trying to build mass, it's much easier once you're already started. If you want to try to lose more weight, again, it's much easier once you're going and you've got some of that knowledge base and you're just comfortable doing it, to change your diet, and to do different kinds of exercises to, decrease weight or increase muscle mass or whatever it is that you want to do for your own personal goals in your life. Anyways, that's all I want to talk about for this right now, but please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything, and I will try my best to answer and get back. And if you like the video, if you like the channel, please like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And of course, anything I can do to get my videos out there to help more people is exactly what my goal is and what I would like to try to do. So thank you so much for tuning in. Average Guy signing out for now. Have yourself a good day, guys.